just so I can make sure that we're lined up.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that music goes off, we're good.
Oh, you got some music.
That's that little yellow star. That's when you first put on, you hear that. Dun, 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 I add that.
Where'd you get that?
So there's all copyright shit. So my buddy Matt, who taught me how to do all this, there's tons of websites where you can download free music stuff that's not, you don't have to pay for copyright fees and all that shit. So when I started doing the YouTube videos, I give everybody their own song. Like, I'm going to let you pick whatever you want. So when I do the audio piece, you can pick almost like your entrance music. But when I do it on YouTube, dude, I did the show I did with Mark Campbell. They flag it. So they'll let it play, but in certain countries, they ban it. Like, that we can't play this in certain countries, which is fucking, I'm not monetized, so they shouldn't do anything like that at all.
Right. You're not making no money on it.
So if anybody's wondering why I'm wearing Nate Silvaggio's underwear on my head, by the way, this is Nate Silvaggio. Nate, so tell everyone why I'm wearing your underwear on my head. His BMX underwear, and he hasn't washed them since 1995.
You lost the bet.
I did lose a bet, but what was the bet?
The bet was that after Biden was elected already, you told me that on the 20th, Trump would still be president.
There was going to be arrests.
Mass arrests. Trump wasn't leaving, and he would be president.
You're looking at the result of being wrong.
Hey, you want to play, you got to pay.
So I don't want to, I can't say on air what he made me do before we started filming the show. The underwear is the aftermath of what I had to do to him before. But let's just say I feel a little degraded. I feel slightly degraded, and I lost a whole stick of chapstick in the process.
And you probably won't bet me anymore.
No, I won't. I definitely won't. Is it weird that my head is incredibly hot under these?
Yeah, we got some lights on us. It's
well, that's the thing. The bulbs in these things are like this fucking big. They're like 10 out. All right. So I'm gonna remove these for now, but I'm gonna save these for later.
Oh, you touched them with your mouth.
All right. So listen. So tonight's exciting because this came about because we both want the same thing. All right. No, I'm gonna open this window. Hold on a second.
Ultimately, I think we all want this.
I do. I think we just have a difference. We just have a difference of opinion on how we're going to get there, or if we're going to get there. Is that fair enough to say?
Well, who the right people are to get us there?
That's actually beautifully said, because I am hopeful that Donald Trump is who everybody thinks he is. So, and you see it completely differently.
Well, I think he was put there for a reason, and he served his purpose.
Yes. All right. So, and I can't even argue. And this is the point. This is why I wanted to do the show, because you and I have had some phenomenal discussions about this. Like, normal debates. Isn't that annoying that it sticks like that?
No, that's all right.
That's how it felt when I took the underwear off my forehead. But this is what I think more people should do, is actually sit down and have a discussion. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want what's best for us as United States citizens, and we want what's best for this country. We want financial prosperity. We want to feel safe. We want to know that you have a young son. You want to know that he has a bright future ahead of him and a flourishing world that you're sending him off into. And right now, it doesn't look like any of those things are possible with the current administration. It's scary.
Well, leading up to this, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a nasty world, and unless there's some serious change, like putting the power back in the people's hands, whether it be monetarily, but given the Patriot Act, get rid of the Patriot, things like that, we're not going to have a shot.
No, and the way things are going right now, we don't. We're. I mean, you see it every single day. You have this, which I don't call him. I don't really like to refer to him as a president, because I think he's just there to reserve a position until he expires or his dementia finally takes over.
Biden, yeah.
Yeah, and then you which is sad in itself, by the way. Like, I don't feel bad for him, because I don't think he's a good human being. But to prop him up like that, he has no schedule as a president. He hasn't left whatever, because I don't think he's in the White House. He hasn't left whatever building he's in. He comes out, makes a little 5-minute appearance once a day, signs a couple things, then disappears again.
Where do you think he is?
I think he's in a studio somewhere. I don't think he's actually in the White House. Or if I'm wrong, if he's actually in the White House. So before the inauguration, I had made the prediction that whoever goes to the inauguration is not going to leave D.C., hence the little detainment camp that I still think it's a detainment camp. I don't think it was for protection. I don't think it had anything to do with that staged uprising on the day of the... I think that was all nonsense. It's funny because I actually looked up some footage and you could see very clearly. I get 200 to 300 messages sent to me a day through Telegram and Signal. There's actually footage where it shows Joe Biden signing an executive order with his left hand. He used to be right-handed. And in the background in the window, not only do you see one of the special Secret Service SUVs, which would be parked on the lawn, you see Donald Trump walk by the window. It's clear as day. Like I think they've already been arrested.
Do you think that is manipulated?
It could be, but I want to believe that it's real. Like I want to believe. But that's my whole point. Like everything we're discussing, everything we're going to discuss today, it's a coin toss.
Sure.
And we tend to see things and want to believe things that coincide or correlate with our beliefs.
Yeah, it's fun to entertain it.
Listen, what else is there to do right now?
Well,
we're all trapped in the house.
I think what we should be doing is figuring out how to get rid of the division between everybody.
It's sickening.
It is. It's something that we know what the culprit is. We know it's a television.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have TV anymore, right?
No.
Neither do I.
So I don't like current events as far as that stuff goes right now, or like up to date on who said what. Like I don't really know because I don't have the television to poison me.
You're not missing much.
So it's strange to me that it's controlled opposition in every way.
It's there for a purpose. It's there to do exactly what we're doing right now. Make people disagree.
These groups for people to get behind just so they can argue with the neighbor about what group that they're supporting or who did what, and there's really if you watch the television, it makes no sense at all.
And at the end of the day, the power stays with the same small group of people, and we're just all fighting for crumbs. I think one of the first shows I did was all about how the American dream is nothing more than another form of slavery. I mean, you think about I just had this discussion with a special education teacher about an hour and a half ago. Think about the 12 years you're in school from a young man up until the day you graduate. You don't really learn anything about real life unless you count Mrs. Hudson's home ec. I know how to make a quiche. Yeah. So you don't really learn anything about real life. For 12 years, you're taught how to be on time, hurry up and take a test in a certain amount of time. If you fail, you're no good. You got to do it over again. And none of that is really applicable in the real world. Obviously, showing up to a job on time, that translates. And then you go to college. So as soon as you step out of the door in high school, if you choose to go to college, you got 4 years, $50,000 to $100,000 in student loan debt. Then what's the next part of the American dream? You meet a girl, you buy a house, you have kids, debt. It's all debt. Like the whole thing that we're shown, the path that we're given is all about getting in debt.
Yeah, and that'll obviously lead us to the creation of the Fed, which is obviously why we're living the way we are. Mm-hmm. And the manipulation of everything. So we have to fight back against it.
So if in a perfect world, what would your solution be? Or what would the first step?
Yes, I'm not an economist, but I think if we start small pockets of people, like-minded people get together and just grow it from the local level and have people understand. I think the sooner the people understand that it's not Democrat, Republican.
It's the same thing.
Well, when people realize that that's a television show and they're really the same thing. They just put that show on for everybody so they can control everybody. Mm-hmm. That's one means of the control. So the sooner everybody realizes that we're being taken advantage of in every way.
Oh, yeah.
From the second you wake up in the morning till you go to bed, you can't. Planning for your future is how they tell you have to plan for your future. It's
all manipulated by stocks anyway.
It's speculation. Sure.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's all bullshit.
Sure. So I think that's the way to start doing it. We have the illusion of choice.
There is no choice.
There's no choice. But yet you're gonna go post something about how great Trump is tomorrow because he's
probably
Republican. See, what a Democrat is today is not what a Democrat was.
I think JFK was the last real Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, he appeared. He was again,
And we'll never know because he got killed.
right. But I don't even. I believe he was also placed there. Nobody's, to me, honestly, nobody's been voted in as a president.
I'll agree with that.
Since from the beginning, nobody's been voted in. People are going to think that's crazy to say, but it's honest and true.
I think you're true. That I don't think that Hillary Clinton in 2016. I don't think that party or the elitists who put the president in place anticipated Trump getting the amount of votes that he did. I think that they thought it was just a joke. I think that they've been using this voting system fraud for quite some time now to tilt things the way they need to. But I just don't think that they anticipated Trump getting the votes that he did.
You don't think that was a show too?
I mean, I guess it could have been.
That was a show all day long. I mean, he goes from going to Chelsea's wedding to hanging with this one, be friendly with all the same people. Come on. I mean, to me, it's laughable. And when it was going on, it was pretty laughable too. So, and I knew like it led up to Trump becoming president. He's the major disruptor, and it worked. Now look at what's going on here. And they just chose to double down with the coronavirus lockdowns and the whole coronavirus thing, taking advantage of it, of the situation. And they thought that they were going to, but people are wising up now. I think people are wising up to, you still have the people out there that are, overly worried and, the vaccinations and all this other stuff. But I think people are starting to wake up to the reality of things a little bit.
I think so too. I mean, it's definitely one of the stranger times in the world right now.
In that, not that I agree with anything that Q says, but I think that they maybe played a part in getting people that wouldn't have normally been researching things online or going through to actually start doing that. And then they can decipher what they want to believe out of it, so they'll take a little bit of truth and get everybody, but
they'll give you crumbs, so to speak. Just and who
doesn't want to save the children? I mean, I want to. I would. At first, when you hear that and you see those things, you're like, all right, I'm ready to go out and take care of these people. Like, no problem.
Well, because when you hear the stories,
right mind
you want to. Yeah, you want to hurt them.
Sure, but until you see evidence, hard evidence
that it's real.
Hillary wore a baby's skin on her face. Like when I heard that, I'm like, all right, they're going too far. But that actually gained traction with the Q community. So, do I believe that the royal family and Prince Andrew and all these people are pedophiles? Oh yeah. Do I believe, I think this all is going to stem back to Epstein in a weird way. All of this, right down to our recent history, our recent political history, because he has, as far as I know, he has video on everybody.
Everybody.
And that's a Mossad tactic, Israeli Mossad tactic, and they use that to hold leverage over everybody. Mm-hmm. So there's no way that you're going to get into power unless they have that over you. Somebody's got that over you.
Well, there has to, because somebody's controlling you at all times.
Always.
Somebody's controlling you.
It's sad.
What's funny is it's hard not to want to choose a side. And this is why I fall victim to it, because I want to believe that Trump is who we're all led to believe that he is. But at the same time, every single thing that you say makes sense. Mm. And this is why I wanted to have this discussion, because I know how hard it is. And think about the time you have to invest to dig this stuff up, or how critical thinking comes into place. So you have to know how to look for the information, how to decipher what could be real, what's nonsense. It's a lot. So, and I also think that the further down the rabbit hole you've gone, I've gone, you see very quickly how a lot of people will just give up, because it's exhausting.
Or lose faith in humanity.
Yeah, well, that's,
at one point you're like, oh God.
Because you come across so many things. And again, at the end of the day, every single thing that we heard about the election, about the fraud, you've heard it. We've literally been shown nothing. Sidney Powell has all but vanished out of so supposedly her cases are being put on February 19th. They're being shown to the Supreme Court. Okay, fine. But every single thing that we were told completely fucking fell through with nothing to show for it. Trump left, here we are. And if I had to guess, right now the Biden administration looks like they were put in place, and you have this old man who all he can do is go out, sign some executive orders. I haven't seen him yet once leave, whether he's in the White House. You haven't seen him go anywhere. I haven't seen him get on Air Force One. I haven't seen him go anywhere.
I think I saw a picture of a dog. Oh, this president has a dog.
Yeah, everything is irregular. Yeah. So to me, that leaves that window of possibility open. Be like, okay, this is possible because I've seen nothing to the contrary. But everything that I think is to the contrary could also be possible because I haven't seen that either. And now here we are in this weird limbo where we don't know what to believe, and it sucks. And all this is happening at such an odd time where it's COVID. You don't really want to leave that. Like, do I believe in COVID? Yes, I know it's a real thing. Do I think it's as bad as they're touting? No. But we're all still stuck in the house. There's nothing else to do. If you believe anything that's come out, you don't want to watch TV because you think they're all baby-eating rapists. Yeah. So it's like you don't want to watch TV anymore. So yeah, it's there's nothing else to focus on. But
what we should be focusing on is our rights. Freedom of speech,
which is
basically all of our rights. The surveillance state that they've developed on us since 2001.
Was that since through the NSA, right?
The NSA, the Patriot Act allowed all of this to happen. So the accelerated surveillance that they've done on us, citizens, the people that they're supposed to work for, is alarming. It's so alarming that. You can almost compare it to China.
Yeah, we're not far.
With their social credit system, you can almost compare it to them in a lot of ways. And Canada's not too far behind. Yeah, and until we get rid of that Patriot Act, until we get rid of Jesus, I can go on and on. The Patriot Act, Citizens United. Until you get money out of politics, you're not going to put power in the people's hands.
I put this together yesterday. On my lunch break, Melissa, my supervisor, watches some of my stuff. I was in my office yesterday. So these are the 8 steps that you need to accomplish to create a socialist society, which eventually becomes communism. So I put this together hoping to get your input on this. So number 1 is healthcare. By controlling healthcare, you can control the people. And now we were introduced to COVID-19. So that's one way to control it. Number 2 is poverty. You increase the level of poverty as high as possible so people are easier to control, and we won't fight back because the government now provides us with food, healthcare, money, so forth. Number 3 would be debt. You increase the debt to an unsustainable level. That way you're able to increase taxes. Hence all the unnecessary wars we're always in, and I feel like we constantly just bankrupt the country and just print more money to pay for ourselves. 4 would be gun control. You remove the ability to defend yourselves. The government takes that away, and therefore you can create a police state. 5 is welfare. You take control of every aspect of food and housing. You give the people of this country the income that they need to get by, so they're fully dependent on the government. Number 6 would be education. You take control of what people read and listen to, and take control of what children learn at a young age. That's been going on
since the beginning of time.
I think all of this has been going on for the most part. Number 7 is religion. You remove the belief of God from the government and from schools because people need to believe in only what the government tells them to believe. And number 8 is class warfare. And that's pretty simple. Really, divide the people into the wealthy and the poor. Eliminate the middle class, and this creates more discontent, and it'll be easier to tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. I'm sorry, tax the poor with the support of the wealthy. I read that backwards. So if you look at those 8 things, they're all already here. Oh, yeah. Not one of those things aren't being implemented and haven't been implemented for quite some time. To a certain
extent, sure, yeah.
But the fact that you even have a whiff of any of that in this country, like the class warfare, that goes out saying. Education. Now you go so far as with education, you're going to let transgenders use the opposite bathrooms and so forth. Oh. The sports. Like, what's going to happen to sexual assault at that point? It's just, it's insanity to me.
I can't believe the whole thing with the sports. To me, it's...
Did you see the post I put up today with that guy, the wrestler?
I haven't been on yet.
It looked like you muckling a 4th grader. It's insane.
I don't know where anybody in their right mind thought that was a good idea.
It's just, to me, it's another way to drive people insane and create havoc.
Yes.
You're taking this small group, which constitutes, I don't know what percentage of the United States population, who want to be the opposite sex, and you're pitting them against everybody else. Religiously, societally speaking, you're saying that they're picked on in terms of what jobs they can get.
Yeah.
I read a post today that a white girl was saying that by white people using big words in their vocabulary, it shows that we're white supremacists because black kids don't have access to the same education. So we're white supremacists if we use big words.
We have to get rid of that.
It's fucking insanity.
The exposure to that nonsense is another thing.
And it's so, and here's the problem now is everybody's on social media and it's a cesspool. I contributed to it. I'm the biggest fucking troll in Rhode Island, I think, right now. But it's everywhere. And your kids live on this. And there's so many TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. If you're a professional, you use LinkedIn. I don't know what the deal is with that. But there's just too many modes to get absorbed into this.
The perfect plan.
Yeah.
Sadly, people can say what they want. Call you a conspiracy theorist. They know that was another way of controlling you, you know. Same thing with the television. I mean, it's just a way to get their message out.
Project Mockingbird, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's just another way to get their message out. And we have to put an end to it and say no to start off with. But first, we have to not be so divided. We have to realize that Democrat and Republican is not...
It's a two-party hoax. That's what you used to call it, right?
Yeah, it's an illusion.
It is.
It's...
Perfect example. You referred to this as a television show a few minutes ago. I saw a clip, it was on YouTube, of Rand Paul going off about something. And they televised this. So I paused it. I had Brianna look at it. I go, why do they do this? I don't care what he's saying. Nothing changes. Rand Paul, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. He forcefully made his case. And then what?
What happened?
To me, it's no different than if two guys go face to face who are about to get into a fist fight and all they do is talk shit to each other and never throw a punch. That's what that is to me.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's upset. We're upset. What are you showing us this for?
Yeah,
it means nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing changes.
Make it happen. You know. In Rand Paul's case, I think he's a genuine guy. You know,
he seems like I don't know who to even believe anymore. Ted Cruz. I mean,
God help me. But there are people that you think are authentic, whether you agree with them or not. They're just authentic sounding people. There's not many that I agree with at all.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with whoever they are because of their party. I agree with them because of what they're saying or what they're doing. And those are two different things.
Parties are relevant.
You know.
Because you could take pieces of each Republican and Democrat and agree with some of their ideologies on some level, but you can't ever get one person because it's like, well, Democrats see it this way, so if you see it the other way, you're against us. Like they create
foolish. It
Yeah.
wasn't like that years and years ago. Not as bad.
No. It seems like it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't know if that's because the social media aspect, like there's so many people across the globe communicating, so it's easy to spread bad ideas and bad ideologies. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the internet has really gained access. I think it could be one of two things. I think it's exactly what we're talking about now. Like there's easier access to information and to spread bad information.
Sure.
So false truths and lies and everything spread much faster. But that could also be a tool. Like if you get the right people in place, you can also and you start to see it now. Like anybody that speaks out against the current establishment, you're being censored left and right. Whether or not you're with Trump, against Trump, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
If you're anything other than what this party, the Democrats, are pushing out to you, then you're evil, you're a racist, you're this, you're a xenophobe.
To me, that makes them look weak. When they
look scared.
They look weak.
That's exactly what I said.
What's the guy's name from Florida? Came out yet this week? Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
I don't follow him, so I don't know much about him. But I did hear on Jason Burm's show this week. He had a clip of DeSantis on talking, and what he said was making a lot of sense and had to do with the internet censorship. Now, what I mean by localized pockets of people doing things, maybe Florida is going to be a well of people that
like a little hub to
get
start
together and fight back against the censorship. He made a good point when he said, they pushed a Russiagate thing on Trump. Nobody got censored pushing Russiagate on Trump. But here we are. Now, I read the tweet that Trump put out, and you know as well as I do, I wasn't a Trump supporter. I'm not an anybody supporter, but I do think what they did to him was wrong because that's a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
And they're already doing it. They're starting to accelerate that. They're almost putting their foot on the gas.
Well, they know they fucked up, so you have to go all in or admit defeat.
So
you can't, and they're not going to admit.
Like Jack Dorsey allowing this pedophilia type of stuff on Twitter.
Please.
How is that allowed? See, that's where I and every normal human being in the world will align and say that that's wrong. If anybody in the world read some of those Chrissy Teigen tweets,
the ones that
whatever the hell her name is, just any person in the world reads those and goes, "Well, that's just weird. That's strange."
She's fucked up.
If they don't say that that's weird and that's strange and there's something going on there, then they're just blind to the fact.
You're ignorant. You're willfully ignorant at that point. You just don't want to see it.
Just because, you're like blinded by her celebrity status. I don't even know.
Why is she a celebrity? What does she do? Who is she?
Who's she married?
John Legend.
Oh, he's evil.
Yeah. He's a little vagina who can sing. That's who he is. He's nothing. He's just a little...
I'm trying to picture what he looks
probably
like.
only propped up there and singing because of what he did to get in that position. Like, listen, it's no mystery that crazy shit happens in the music and movie industry. You look at the Harvey Weinsteins and all this shit.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. That's what they let release. That's
those are their sacrificial lambs as far as I'm concerned. Those are the people they laid out to slaughter to cover something bigger. So do I think that that's made up? No, not even a little bit.
Well, I'm sure there's certain parts of it exaggerated.
Of course, it's like everything else.
Like the whole Pizzagate thing. All right, so I researched the best I could on that,
and you just find the same, lack of subtext.
You see some things covered up, and you see these things. So, but you don't really know if that was real. To what the extent is. You do know that the politicians used to go to Alfontis or Alfankus, whatever his name is, pizza joint, and hang around and have fundraisers there. And you see pictures. I've seen some strange pictures of a little girl duct taped down.
I saw that too. Yeah,
like real creepy. Like,
why would that be happening?
And why does anybody in their mind that sees something like that be like, oh, that's when you stop and say, well, is it a conspiracy theory?
What?
Or should it be looked into?
You can come in.
Oh, my mom's here.
Bring her in.
I didn't want to.
Tell your mother to come in and say hello to Nate. No, tell her to come in.
So that's where anybody should stop and say, okay, the kid's taped up with duct tape, and the kid's face looked like she was in distress a little.
Correct.
So that's where you say, all right, what the hell is going on
and
here?
Why isn't that being explored?
He said it was his niece or something weird. And then you go through and you read some of his tweets and you're like, okay, there's some creepy stuff.
Yeah.
And people are going, oh, that's artwork. And I'm going,
it's not art. Come in. Lori, this is Nate. Nate, this is my mother-in-law. Lori, go say hi to the camera. Go stand next to Nate. Come on, get on cam. Flash us. Lori, can you close that door?
So
I'm going to take my pants off in a second.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
So the news kind of swept that whole thing under the rug. Now, how severe was the abuse? What was going on? That's what we don't know, right?
That should be explored more than anything.
Yeah, just take it piece by piece and break it apart. And even if you're a Democrat or a Republican, see, that's where this all comes in. The Democrats are like, oh, Pizzagate is a big conspiracy. Well, just look into it a little bit and figure out why is it so weird then.
Yeah.
Instead of, maybe you don't think that. Or maybe you think that that's okay. And if you think that that's okay, maybe we shouldn't be friends.
And then why is John Podesta, I'll just take his name because he seems to pop up in all the emails. Why are his emails either complete gibberish or code for something? You know what I mean? Like,
line that up. It's just weird.
It's just odd. Either this guy needs a psychiatric evaluation or he's saying something through different vocabulary. That's it. Just explore that. Yeah. But it just gets completely swept under the rug.
Take that piece, take the other piece, take the artwork piece and put it all together. Take the spirit cooking into it. Like,
oh God,
weird.
Please.
Like totally like, but so here I am, not a Q person, not a whatever, but I'm saying that's weird.
Of course it is.
I'm saying like that's super strange. And if it means that there are kids being abused somewhere in there, then let's get to the bottom.
Why is it not being investigated or at least taken slightly more seriously?
And at least be able to judge these people's characters, Look at his brother's artwork. Okay. If you're a lady and he asks you to come home after you guys have dinner and you go and you see the claw thing with the kid on the top.
Yeah.
No. What?
Did you see the pool? They had the in-ground pool inside the house.
I went there. I went to the house.
Did you really?
Yeah, we went there. That's a Vanderbilt mansion.
Correct.
Yeah, that's where Anderson Cooper's family, and the kid definitely shows resemblance to Anderson Cooper.
Oh, he does. Absolutely.
And that pool, yeah, is in the Vanderbilt mansion. It's creepy. So you almost get an eerie feeling being in the house anyway.
I would, yeah. Look, do I think that strange shit happens when you get to that level? And yeah, of course. I think with any level of power comes the ability to you just get away with things. And listen, man, there's all kinds of fucking perversions in this world. Let's make no mistake about it. There are fetishes for all kinds of fucking shit.
Whatever.
And we know. It's been happening since the beginning of time. There are people who have an illness that they're drawn to children, okay? So if we know all this, is it so hard to believe that people in power who are influencers, creators of society, captains of industry, whatever it is, to also have these sick perversions, but to have the ability to buy their way in and out of it as they see fit? No, I don't find that too hard to believe. I'd rather find out where this started, who's currently doing it, and eliminate those
Absolutely.
people.
Solutions.
I truthfully think that is a more pressing issue than anything else we're going through in this country right now. Politics is all bullshit. It's like you said, I've never been a political or a religious person. I'm not a religious, I'm a spiritual person now. But that being said, politics and religion are always two very divisive and argumentative topics. It doesn't matter. They're set up to never see eye to eye.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's why I've always historically stayed away from them. I don't know what it is about this particular election that got me interested. It's unique just because of the circumstances around it. I don't really know, but I'm not one of those people. I mean, you know me, dude. I don't take shit seriously at all.
Yeah.
But something drew me to this. I don't know what, but it's just an odd time in the world.
Well,
And there's
I'll say the message, Trump's message when he was running for president was one of, I'm going to fight for the average guy, average Joe. Like
he was Hulk Hogan.
He kind of talked like everybody else talks, and he got away with saying that to grab
him by the pussy,
grab her by the bird thing. Yeah.
And if you haven't done that yet, try it.
So I mean, he was able to smooth that over and be like, and never do wrong, really, in a sense, So he could pretty much do whatever he wanted.
He did a lot of dumb shit.
But he like lined up with average working Joe. Joe the plumber or something. Mm-hmm. So I see the message, and he actually came out fighting. First thing he was going to do was take care of healthcare prices for everybody. I'm fighting for average Joe. I'm going to bring manufacturing back to the country. I'm fighting for average Joe. And it's I can understand why people were like, yes, this guy's going to fight.
It's different.
Us. This guy's going to come in and lower my $12,000 a year healthcare costs. This guy's going to come in, put us back to work. He's going to come in, fix the roads. That was another thing. He
infrastructure.
He took Bernie Sanders' message. Trump literally took Bernie Sanders' message and ran on it. He saw how popular that old bastard was, and took his message and made it, put a tough guy edge to it, and ran on it and won. And he knew it. He stole the message and won. Bernie is obviously going to fold and bend over and fall down for anybody, including Hillary, like he did. And when that happened, that was like, oh God, like here this guy is, the old goats, fighting in for 40 years or however long. Always seemed to be on the right side of the message, and then he folds to Hillary and campaigns for her.
Well, the rumor was, didn't they buy him a house or give him some money or something like that?
No,
I heard a rumor about that he gained financially by.
No, you know what happened? They killed Seth Rich. He was on Bernie Sanders' campaign. They killed Seth Rich and sent them a message and said, "Don't mess around."
He got Clinton.
He got Clinton, and that's exactly what happened. You could tell me different, but I don't believe different. Yeah. And he folded and campaigned for the lady, and then he campaigned for Joe Biden. It's like, bro.
Well, not for nothing. Kamala Harris also called Joe Biden a rapist on multiple occasions, and then backed him afterwards.
You know how that works.
If people can't see the hypocrisy and the bullshit, like 2 months ago, you were calling this guy a molester, a rapist, and a sexual predator.
Ted Cruz's father's he's not even an American citizen, the whole thing. Like, they all do it to each other.
I know.
And then they're friends. I mean, that's politics, which is sad.
You ever see the movie The Campaign with Will Ferrell?
No.
Oh my God, I'm sending you home with that movie tonight.
Have some integrity.
Look, there is nothing. I'll say this, and I'll say this on camera. I would gladly take my middle class existence with my, our 100,000 plus a year, whatever it is. I would take that and maintain my pride, self-esteem, and my integrity than a lavish life, the lies, the bullshit, the deceit. I would never sell my. Dude, that's why I quit corporate sales.
You see how rich they actually get?
Oh God, yeah.
Everybody, and they like did a campaign on Bernie. Oh, look how rich he is. He's the poorest guy.
Of course he is.
He's the poorest guy. I mean, he has a beach house or some shit that he inherited money from his wife's parents.
A lot of people have beach houses.
But you look at the people with no money, and then you listen to them talk. Mm-hmm. They're different.
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard.
I love her.
She's the best. Tom Massey. He's Republican. Whatever side there. But those are two people.
Kristi Noem from South Dakota. I like her.
I like her. In a sense, uncorrupted. Mm-hmm. And still fighting to give us our rights back. Not pandering to corporate money. First things first.
Yeah.
First things first. You want to heal the country? Get corporate money out of politics. Mm-hmm. Very first thing. Very first thing is get rid of the Patriot Act. Second thing, get rid of money out of politics. Then we can begin to heal. Mm-hmm. And there's no argument there. I mean, everybody in the world, in this country, if they know anything about the way that things run, that's what they're going to say.
Yeah.
The Patriot Act is first and foremost because they've taken that and accelerated that to scary levels. And the surveillance state is nothing to shake a stick at and nothing to joke about. It's something that... When we were kids, you ride your bike down the street. Mm-hmm. It's like you have a normal life. You ride your bike. You don't see. Now you ride your bike down the street.
Cameras everywhere.
You're a bad parent if your kid doesn't have a helmet and a fucking mouth guard on. Mm-hmm. There's 5G towers everywhere you look. Mm-hmm. There's cameras on every stop sign. So facial. If they tell you they're not doing facial recognition, they're lying to you.
That's bullshit. And the other thing too is the cameras all over the place. First of all, cameras don't stop crime. They don't stop anything.
It's data collection.
Yes, it is. I agree with that.
The most valuable thing out there nowadays.
Information.
It's the biggest game out there. Data collection. That's how Zuckerberg is. The data that he collects from us. I was listening to DeSantis say this the other night. The data that he collects from us is something like worth to him $500 billion a year. Just by you typing whatever you did today on the computer.
Just using algorithms to figure you out.
We have to make a change. That has to stop. This surveillance state has to stop. We have to stop before we get to a cashless society. We have to stop before we get to that point. Because that's a breaking point for a lot of people. For a lot of people that I know.
Yeah.
When they've already incorporated this, and since you were a kid, get a credit card. You're not going to be able to do this. You
can't do anything without credit.
So they turned it into we're digitized. Mm-hmm. And next thing they want to put, they want to implant. What's that Elon Musk thing? They want to put it in your brain.
Oh, the chip in your brain. Yeah.
What's it called?
Neuralink.
Neuralink. Great. Yeah. Sounds like a great idea. No.
So
you're gonna be superhuman. You can your brain will work.
You're controlled.
It'll unlock your brain another 20%. Fucking meditate. You can unlock your brain another 20%. Just
you want to access a higher consciousness. Get some fresh air. Get out in the woods. Get away from society. Get off your phone. Get off social media. Go eat some vegetables. Get an alkaline balance. Get out in nature.
Period. Take your shoes off.
Yeah, that's all you need to do. Go be a hippie for a few days. That's it. Just go be one with nature. Look, I think people fail to realize that we are our cells. We're star matter. When a star explodes, what's put out into the universe is what we're made of. Energy, okay. Yeah. So we're just electrical currents and organic matter. We are from the earth and the environment, from the air. So to get back to homeostasis, you have to get back in touch with that. We've gone so far in the other direction. Case in point, we have more cancer in this world, in this country than anywhere else in the world. Why is that?
We have more cancer in Rhode Island than anywhere else in the country.
It's fucking crazy. But
brain cancer specifically.
Stress, anxiety. You're not one with nature anymore. We're organisms. We don't function on concrete 5G phones, computers, sitting in a fucking screen all day. Yeah. By the end of the week, I sit here all day. So before you got here, this was an office. She sits there, I sit here. Dual monitors, a laptop. By the end of the week, I want to fucking pull my eyes out of my head from staring at a screen all day.
And it's more than just staring at a screen. It's the electrical vibration
Yes.
around you.
Why do you think Steve Jobs got that was a pancreatic cancer? The guy spent his whole life around those frequencies.
Yeah.
The Of course, that's what killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on all this stuff. And it's funny because you've shifted a lot of my thought process with... No, you really have, because, Nate, you know this. Once you get an idea in your head, I'm a fucking stubborn Italian. Once I get an idea in my head, I'm like a bull in a china shop. It's hard to break that. But I literally cannot argue with one counterpoint you've made to the way I perceive what's happening. I can't argue with it because I have no proof to the contrary. Just like I have no proof that what I want to happen or what I perceive happening is actually happening. So
that's hopeful. I mean, hopeful.
It'd be nice if it was,
absolutely.
but and we talked about this the other day, is now, as someone who's recently become a spiritual individual, I've had multiple people tell me that, yeah, Trump could be a great thing if this works out. Like we talked about earlier, he could also be the Antichrist. It's like a coin toss. Like he could be great or he could bring about the 7-year tribulation. So it depends on how you want to look at this. So,
or he could just be Donald Trump and
an egomaniac.
He to me, he doesn't come off as the person that's putting out the positive vibes that you need, that everybody needs, you know.
I agree with that.
He's not this guy that's out there doing what he said he was going to do on the campaign.
He does. I will say this: as much as I want what I've put out there on social media, as much as I want that to be accurate, he does come off as a pompous jerk off.
Sure.
Now, am I going to sit here and say, oh, I like him as a person or I don't like him as a person? I don't fucking know. I've never met one of these politicians. I don't know if I like them. I know that what we see on the television is a persona, like what we're doing right now on camera.
Oh, yeah.
We're projecting how we want people to view us. So I don't know. I don't know the guy personally. So I can't make any assumptions or judgments based on who I see on the television. What I do know is if what he's working on, Gassara, if a fraction of that came true, fantastic, because we could start to actually have a little bit of what life should be. I don't believe our life should be waking up, going to work, breaking your ass 40 hours a week just to get 2 days off so you can have 2 days, 1 day to yourself maybe, and then 1 day to get caught up on your shit so you can get ready for work the next day. That's not living. And then if you're lucky at 65 years old, which I think now it's 67, like every couple of years,
it goes up.
The goalpost keeps moving, and that's if you invested properly.
That's right.
So
you're working until you die.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like I don't. To me, I look at retirement as a complete fucking scam. Which stay tuned for next week's episode with Bob Rebusini, world-renowned financial advisor. He was just in Wall Street Journal and Forbes magazine, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's next week. That's my financial advisor.
So he's got a tough job now.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke last week before we went skiing, and it's just he's concerned because if what we want to happen happens, what does that mean for his trade? Right. If it doesn't happen and we continue down this path, what does it mean for his trade? And this is the problem I have with all this, is all of this, we don't need all this volatility in the markets, in our economy. We don't. There is enough precious metal on this earth to be fairly distributed, so no veteran has to be homeless, no child has to go without shelter and water. Like, since we were kids, none of that has to be possible. It's made possible by people who just want to have their boot on people's throats.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, when you put it in those simple terms, we all want the same thing.
We all want that.
We all want the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, we all want employment, right?
Yeah.
Education. We all want that. We do. We all want the same thing. We don't, however, want to look at our future and go, well, I'm 42, 43. I'd like to be done when I'm 65. I worked 3 jobs. Like, so it's like, but you can't look at things. There's so much uncertainty out there. You can't look at things. And you can grind your ass off like I have.
Yeah, and you do, because you have several things.
You got to do it. Just try to find. But you would think that's not an opportunity. That's just like a work ethic. But you would want that opportunity to be better than it is. Like I would feel like, I'm 43. Like I shouldn't be retired, but I shouldn't be going, no, do I have to work until I'm 80? which I don't mind working. Like I like the idea that I have things that I want to do till I die, and it includes, work or not work, or
it's a passion, something you enjoy doing.
Yeah. So, but there's no future for there's no future or certainty for your average guy to say, I'm going to work a job 30 years, I'm going to get out, I'm going to retire, I'll be okay. My wife will retire with me a couple of years after.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Before, I'll be fine. No, they're going, when I retire, what am I going to do for healthcare?
Correct. Yeah.
That's the first thing they say. And to me, that's a huge issue with whatever you call yourself, Republican, Democrat, whatever. To me, it's a huge issue, the affordability of it, the wackiness of it. There's so much like, what plan do you get? Who can you do this with, the in-network, out-of-network?
Oh, it's so fucking annoying.
They let these hedge funds come in, like for instance, Rhode Island. They let these hedge funds come in, here in New England. They buy the place up.
Yeah.
Now, they're obligated to the shareholder.
Yes.
Right? That should be illegal.
Yes, it should.
They're not obligated to the patient care. So when you lose patient care, I mean, that you unravel the whole system from there on out. And now they're scanning Q-tips and they're doing this and they're doing that. It's like, hey, man, can we go back and say, well, for one, let's consolidate the healthcare companies, whatever. I don't know what the plan is. I don't agree with the government running it, really.
No, because they've done a terrible job of it so far.
But I do agree with regulating it in a way where you don't have 15, you pick a few healthcare plans.
So that's what I do need. So I am the liaison between all the 2,000 doctors at Lifespan and all the insurance companies.
Oh yeah, great.
So
yeah,
and because it doesn't seem to do the same. Okay, so you know how many different plans there are and who covers what, who's a specialty. Dude, it is awful. It is exhausting. And then every couple of weeks, the rules change. They change something. They do this. Oh, we don't cover this anymore. And it's just it's a game of hot potato, and it's all designed to not pay claims.
Totally.
It's all designed to just fuck you over. That's all it is.
Oh, yeah.
So
how can we not pay the claim?
That's exactly what it is.
So that system has to be overhauled. I mean, the fact each state has their own way of doing it. I don't know enough about it, but I do know this. If they said to me, your family plan's $500 a month, you got $1,000 deductible, and you got a copay of $40, whatever your copay is when you go to the doctor. Cool, thank you. You're a single guy, a woman, it's $300 a month. Here it is. Here it is. Not all of that other mess. And that's why we're becoming more and more unhealthy. And if they don't promote healthy eating first and foremost, then it's all nonsense. We don't need to be on the Rockefeller Petro pharmaceutical pills and really you watch TV and it's like, oh, well, if you have a sniffle or you're sad.
Every commercial is alcohol, cars, depression. That's all it is.
Now that should be illegal.
Yes, it should.
Pharmaceutical commercials.
Promoting drugs. Because how vague is they run? It's a 5-minute commercial, and it's every symptom. It's literally every emotion or thing you might feel throughout 24 hours.
Of course.
Oh, I might have that.
Huh. Go ask your doctor for this, and you'll bleed out your ass, and you'll cry every so often, and I don't know.
It's unbelievable. And then what they don't tell you is that because I've spent when I had my store. I partnered up with a doctor. We had a pharmacist who was doing medication evaluations. And so I learned quite a bit about the medications. And for everything that you take that's foreign to the human body, you're losing something else. Fluid balance, vitamin, mineral absorption, anything. There's a variety of things. Most medications have this severe impact on your prostate, your cholesterol, and your blood pressure. Those are the three main things.
Yeah.
Any type of psychotropic, antidepressant, anything like that, bang, so long hard-ons. Then you have fertility issues and this and that. It doesn't end. It's this snowball effect. Man, it's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying.
They have to put it into that. We're talking about solutions. We're sitting there talking about what can we do? What would you do? these ideally, and it almost seems like common sense. It's almost like,
because it is common sense. But what you have to do, and this is why I miss my store, is because I was able to have these discussions and talk to people. Because people came in for one thing. Okay, look, I came in to get a protein shake. Okay, what is it you're taking the protein for? Well, my friend said, should I take it? Okay, let's leave them out of it. Why did you have that conversation with your friend? And I was getting down to root causes. Yeah. And then eventually you would ask enough revealing questions where people would have that aha moment, and they're like, oh shit, I'm doing this all, I'm causing my own problems. I didn't give a fuck about how much money I made in my store. Yeah. I loved it because I was, and still to this day, most of my followers are people who shopped with me for 10 plus years because I genuinely helped them just see through the nonsense. That's why I struggled with corporate sales. Like when I worked at Cox, I did it for a year. It was the worst year, besides being in that lawsuit when me and the doctor broke up the business. That was the most miserable fucking year of my life because my whole job was to convince people to buy shit, phones and cable service that they didn't need. I'm here to make you believe that you're not happy with what's...
Yeah, I mean, I'm a licensed realtor. I can't do it.
I fucking hated it.
I can't do it.
I hated it. And it's tough because you have to sell houses and you have to try to convince people.
Yeah, I just hold it, I have my license to help friends and family and people that want an honest realtor. You know, it's not, I would never, I had 2 clients that were like, hey, this young couple, I showed them houses for a year.
Yeah.
They looked at me and I'd always walk in and like, I have a construction background. So I'm like, yeah, you don't want this dump, No, I said it to enough houses that the wife looks at me, she goes, I almost said to him the other night, I said, does he want to sell us a house? I'm like, I can't. Why?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you.
And I have to say something by law because I see it with my eyes. And I have the knowledge of it. I'm not a salesperson.
We're 4 minutes away from 6 o'clock.
Oh man.
So what's happening at 6 o'clock?
You have it on the
hold on, let me see.
Propaganda box.
I'm trying to so supposedly at 6 o'clock I watched a Charlie Ward show today.
You need a drink?
Yeah, you want to make another one? Here, top us off. Oh, come on, I'll leave this running for now. All right, boom. All right, so we got another drink. By the way, cheers, Nate.
Cheers.
This is long overdue. So it is now 6:06, and according to Charlie Ward's show that got put up earlier today, at 6 o'clock there was supposed to be this massive reveal that the arrests were made and the military's taken over. And
what arrests are you talking about?
Biden was arrested. I can play it if you like. You can come in. What's the matter?
Sorry, get my coat.
I'm going to play this just so everybody knows what's going on. Here we go. Let's do this.
Charlie Ward.
Oh.
Where the hell's the video? Let me go to my saved. The problem is bye, babe. Drive carefully, all right?
We will.
So that Charlie Ward, I've seen some of his videos. He was on...
What's your take on him?
Well, he seems to get on YouTube quite a bit.
I know. And he doesn't get kicked off.
No. He's on... Did I see him on... Who's that crazy guy? Robert Steele? Something Steele. Claims to be an ex-CIA agent. Looking guy.
I know you're talking about. His name's escaping me right now.
Another crackpot, but he's on his show. I think I may have seen him on Macroaggressions. I don't know.
All right, here we go. Make sure I got this lined up so the people know what's supposed to be happening right now.
You can line it up on the online.
I'd literally just hold this up to the mic. Here, put this on so you can actually hear what's going on.
Before we begin, guys, subscribe to our
BitChute channels,
our YouTube channels, and also now Charlie Ward is on Gab as well, and also I should be doing the same.
I got a second pair.
And the links are below in the description.
And Telegram.
And Telegram, sorry if I didn't say that one, and Telegram as well. Charlie, do you want to say anything before we begin?
There's a delay in there.
No, it's we're living in an amazing time right now, and
figure it out.
I did mention I'm going to read out a statement that I've received. I put it out yesterday.
It's funny he says it like it's
had a huge
matter of
impact
fact
on people because this.
I think it's ironic that this came out today and we're doing this show.
Yeah, right.
It's like of all the days it could come out.
It was a statement that I received.
Like another deadline.
Basically saying it's done. The deep state collapses. The best is coming now. The official announcement of martial law and a legitimate military government has been in effect since 12 a.m. on January the 20th, 2021. It was made on Friday the 29th.
It's nonsense.
At 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 11 o'clock GMT. The official announcement of Joe Biden's arrest, along with 355 congressmen, 109 senators, 464 elected on the 24th and 25th of January.
So you didn't hear this yet?
Was made on Sunday,
That's my
January the
first time hearing
31st at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10:35 GMT, 11:35 Central European Time. These announcements were made on the dates and the hours above to all American media, television, radio, and national newspapers, and to all of the world's news outlets. As expected, by the legitimate military government that runs the United States of America right now.
He's reading it.
This official information was 100% censored by all official world media. The US military government knew this and wanted it that way. As with Biden and his party's coup d'etat, the legitimate US government is allowing the US media to commit widespread treason by having them censor the legitimate government's official statements about measures of national security and immediate danger to the American nation. The Illuminati media of the Fourth Reich have all fallen into the trap. Now, the legitimate military government can take over provisional control of all such terrorist media whenever it wants, as dictated by law and in the US Constitution. The US military government will take control by force of an official media, radio, television, and newspaper across the United States this Friday, the 5th of February. That's today.
Yes, it is.
At 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
12 minutes ago.
11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, or midnight Central European Time. This includes the acquisition of all US channels on the broadcast satellites that broadcast live in Europe. This also means that all Europeans with a satellite reception antenna who receive US channels can no longer be censored and will therefore find out the truth from Friday evening, February the 5th, which is today.
I'd like to know who wrote that to him.
2021.
I know.
Seriously.
So, and it continues to go into a little bit more detail.
He's reading it. He's not
I'll
saying
read it
it's true, which it's not, obviously, because it's 6:15 right now.
It's true. It's so the irony here is beautiful that we're having this discussion
It's
about
amazing. I love it.
my bogus post after post after post, which is the reason I'm wearing this. What you just heard is why I had to wear these today.
I wore those for... Well,
It smells like Dracar and a Porta-John.
interesting.
Well, you work on job sites a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you're a trap. I mean, you know.
I'm out there. Yeah.
And it's weird that there's some splintered wood in the front part there, like right near the eye of the hurricane.
Well, that's...
Hurricane Silvaggio.
Hurricane Silvaggio.
It's no mystery why your middle name is Vaj, the Dragon Slayer. So listen, I'm looking at Facebook right now, and I don't see anything to corroborate.
Well, I would say that Facebook may be the last... After hearing what he said, Facebook's probably the last place you're going to see something.
Let's check on Telegram, see if anything's happening.
What's Telegram?
So
I think I know what it is.
Telegram's that's actually the app that I was on when I showed you that disgusting, like the human body's all torn up and shit.
That's where they did the the XRP pump, one of the pumps.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I don't see anything. Let me see.
Shout out to SRP.
So, all right, hold on. It's time to get off your asses and reclaim your country, state by state, city by city, country by country. This is blah, blah, blah.
So one thing that caught my ear.
I would love your feedback on what we just listened to.
The whole military martial law thing, and how people are seemingly okay with that.
Yeah, because you've been a proponent that you don't want that whatsoever. And you and I differ on that opinion. So give me your perspective.
Well, martial law, I mean, that's
the
complete opposite of what...
So my understanding of their level of martial law, what would be expected would be to subdue any uprisings from like the Antifas, the Black Lives Matter, anyone who would be counterproductive to implementing what Trump is talking about.
Martial law is martial law.
Is martial law, yeah.
So pretty much they can kick your door down right now if they wanted to.
Correct.
Okay. That's not okay with me.
No, that's a $2,600 front door I got. If they kick that in, I don't have to pay. I don't want to replace that.
I mean...
No, so you're correct. You see, like I said, you see the extreme of that. Now, in terms of martial law, like, are they going to come after gun owners? Are they like they can literally do whatever they want?
Yeah.
So that is a scary proposition, which I'd like to believe is one of the reasons they haven't actually done it yet. But there's the other part of me who wants to believe in all this, who thinks that it's literally just for those who would stand up in response to what was happening.
I will say this to fuel your fire. I know someone who bet on the presidential election.
And they're not paying out till March.
They haven't been paid out yet.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard that. No,
I mean, say what you want, whatever that is. It's strange. I guess one of the outlets paid out on it.
Here's the other thing, too. We all know what Joe Biden and Barack Obama did to Michael Flynn, okay? Supposedly had a conversation on a civilian line, whatever. Yeah. Why, after Biden was elected, why was his brother put in charge of the entire Pacific region of the United States Army? Why was General Flynn's brother put in charge of that massive responsibility?
Is that Joseph Flynn? Is that his brother?
I think it's Patrick. I think his name is Patrick. But he is right now. He is in command of the first line of defense against China, the Philippines, Japan, like they are.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
But that's what I mean. It's a little odd. Like, why would Joe Biden allow the man who you just persecuted and took out of the military? Why would you allow his brother that much power? So it leads me to believe that Joe Biden isn't in fact in charge of the military, because that's been speculation that the Pentagon refused to speak to Joe Biden and actually told him when he requested information about the convoy going into Syria. Supposedly, the Pentagon said that is something you do not need to know. And that was the end of the conversation. So you take that and you stack that up with the fact that Michael Flynn's brother is now in charge of one of the largest divisions of the United States military, the Pacific region. I mean, it doesn't add up. It's odd. It's very odd why you would persecute his brother and then give his brother all that responsibility in the military.
Yeah, it sounds strange.
Again, this is why this conversation is so fun, because it's like a pendulum. Like, one day it definitely swings like, okay, Nate's right, I'm a fucking moron. Okay. And then the next day it's like, all right, well, this doesn't really add up. Like, why would this happen if Joe Biden was in fact a legitimate president? That's what makes it so fun. Like, to me, I look at it, I'm being optimistic. Like, I will literally, and I've said this, if nothing happens, I would just come on here, put social media, whatever. I'm an asshole. I took the bait. It was a psyop.
I think it's not. I don't believe that you're an asshole. I believe that you're hopeful.
I always have hope.
Like most people. Just that the psyop was extremely well done.
Yeah,
and it did have that touch of military intelligence in there to make people believe it a little bit more. Excuse me, but it also it's becoming obvious that it's a psyop. Really obvious.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
Like, the longer it goes, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So
it's like you're trying to bang the head cheerleader in high school, and she keeps letting you buy her drinks and go to the parties because you're bringing the six-packs, but she never really sleeps with you. Like, that's what this feels like.
Somebody sent me
that's what this feels
Somebody
like.
sent me a thing today. Was it yesterday? A Q post from 2018. right? The post had said something about Judge retiring, Sullivan.
Nate, slide over soon.
Judge Sullivan retiring at this time, and the Q post was from 2018. It said something about...
And they always say future proofs past or something.
Yeah. What is the over-under? Sullivan retires, steps down by March 2021 based on public info. Possible coordinated efforts with OSC Mueller Q, question mark Q. And then the guy retires today or yesterday.
Yeah.
But they just throw darts at the dartboard.
It feels a lot
way.
like when you're making spaghetti, you throw it at the cabinet to see if it sticks, to know if it's done.
Yeah.
It's starting to feel that way. I'm not going to dispute that. I will say this. I am overly enthusiastic about the possibility of things still happening. And the only reason I'm still optimistic is because there's a few key things, like we just discussed, that just don't add up to me.
So now, it's 20 past 6.
Is that clock? I don't know if I changed it.
Well, whatever it is, I don't.
I haven't heard shit.
I don't know what it is, but
no emergency broadcast
it's past
message.
6
nothing.
o'clock. We don't see Joe Biden in cuffs, which is probably never going to happen,
I don't see anything.
or any of this stuff. So there's got to be a time to draw the line and say, "Hey, we've been duped. It was a great."
Well, hold on a minute. I just got a message on Telegram, says my internet just went down at 4:05 Mountain Time. Mine did too. Mine too. There's a whole thread of people saying that their internet went down Mountain Time. Slow in Arkansas, but isn't everyone in Arkansas slow?
Of course.
Let me see what else I can find. Yeah, I don't know. It just, I will say this.
Well, the blackout. Remember the blackout?
I would prefer neutral out. It's very racist, Nathan.
We're going to have 10 days of darkness. Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
So somebody just posted, said, quit date fagging. No one knows the day nor the hour.
See, well, those are the people that are on those threads.
Yeah.
And that's hence how people are so easily absorbed by QAnon.
Did you know that Hunter Biden is writing a memoir?
No, I heard he was in control of the DEA.
Isn't that fucking hysterical?
Is that real? It can't be
It's
real.
like putting Josh Feldman in charge of your wallet.
It's not real. I haven't heard that name in 25 years. That can't be real.
I can't.
So this vodka, this Icelandic vodka, is from the tears of glaciers.
This is really good.
Yeah.
Tears of glaciers?
Well, it's made from glacier water. So I'm assuming it's the glaciers melting and they catching it.
Isn't that what Vikings use for anal lubricant? Glacier tears?
I don't know, but I have Viking lineage.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. The mountain.
That's what, actually I was stupid enough to give Ancestry.com my DNA.
I don't believe that.
Years ago. Well, it was a couple of years ago. I actually got it as a gift for everybody just to see what we were from.
My sister did it too.
And it was surprising to me that I was part African, but I guess everybody's part African.
Well, supposedly we're all, which is weird because I can't dance. I got the shit end of the stick.
You can dance if you want.
Only if I want to.
You can dance if you want to.
You can leave your friends behind.
In Wales, I don't know. It was just strange to read where I was from, but
there's no real Americans. People tend to forget that. Like Native Americans are Americans. We took this land from them. I don't even like. Listen, perfect example of how we were lied to as children. You give Christopher Columbus his own holiday because he's discovered America, but you named it after Amerigo Vespucci, who discovered it before him. That's everything you need to know is in the name of the country.
Yeah.
And what gave you the right to name it? You came here, you raped, pillaged, and slaughtered a civilization of peaceful people who were truly in touch with the earth and still are to this day. You slaughtered them and took what was theirs. And we've continued that brutal tradition straight through the rest of the world for oil and military bases.
Savages.
Yeah, we're no better than we were when we first discovered this country.
There's no utopia. I mean, it is what it is.
No, listen, I really think that I think this life is nothing more than a rest stop. I think this is like the weeding out process of who goes to the kingdom of heaven and who winds up in the lake of fire. I really do believe. I never used to see things that way. But as you know, once you get into this process, you really uncover a lot of shit that you realize that there is a shroud of evil over this planet.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, that's what led me to explore God, because if there's that much evil, yin and yang, there has to be a counterbalance.
Yeah.
Although I was raised Catholic, I got kicked out of my second year of confirmation because I pushed my priest against the wall. So me and Angela Gigoletti were talking in CCD, our second year confirmation class. I had a crush on her when we were kids. And the priest stood me up in front of the class and scolded me for talking to her. And he poked me in the chest. I don't like being touched. So I slapped his hand away and I shoved him into the wall. So I got kicked out when they called my mother to come pick me up. She's like, "Hey, you shouldn't have put your hands on him."
Yeah.
Like, don't touch me. You're not my fucking mother.
You're not gonna deal with me.
So I've never kind of followed the religion, like any kind of religion. I don't like organized things that try to convince you how you should think.
Yeah, no.
I feel as though at 42 years old, I came into God when I was supposed to. So
that's cool. It's different, right? It's a spiritual thing. Yeah.
I just listen. I've always believed in something made us. Something made us. Whether it's a man or whatever, it's irrelevant.
An alien.
Something greater than us created us, or created what created us. So I just choose to believe that the way I see the world right now,
just an experiment.
It could be. I mean, we very well could be. And that's the thing. You don't know. But what I am confident in is, like, we have deja vu. So I wrote a paper in college. I actually did a show on this, where I wrote a paper in college, like we talked about earlier, with stardust. Like when a star explodes, we're created. So I think we're just part of a gigantic recycling process. Our energy, like our soul, so to speak, the electricity that keeps us alive, it looks for a different host. So I think that's why you get deja vu, because we've probably been here before. My mother, ironically, she went to see a medium, and they said this is her 7th time in this realm. And every time she's been a healer, always in Ireland. My mother, since she was a kid, has had this weird passion to want to visit Ireland. Never knew why. She's never been, but she's always had this affinity to go to Ireland. Yeah. But that's what a medium told her. So, look, the older you get, you realize there are no circumstances, there are no coincidences. Like, things come to you.
Nothing's definite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I like to believe there's something after this, but I do think this is a little bit of an audition for what happens to us afterwards.
Sure.
I don't think it's the end.
I think you can come back.
I think so.
Yeah.
It'd be a waste.
Why not?
For you and I not to come back.
Yeah, why not?
Way too fucking good looking and smart. It would be a waste.
Why not, though? I mean,
again, but I'm a hopeful person. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I like to think that there's, out of how bad of a situation you might be in, there's always something to learn or to take away from it.
There is. Yeah. I agree. We have to become solutions people soon.
Yeah, we're doomed right now.
We have to become people that come up with solutions and bring people together. Because if we don't bring people together, as angry as we are of the other people or whatever they are, or who are, the real, like the people that the television creates a persona for, and you just hate it.
Yeah.
People looting stores, riots, this, that, and the other thing, killing. We have to break people from that mold and bring people together.
Look at movies and TV shows. Look what they do. They create a story. They create an arc, okay? And then you have a good guy, a bad guy, and some type of strife in the middle. So movies and shows inherently are designed to make you choose a side.
Oh, yeah.
We've been seeing it since we're kids. A guy, Tim Kress, who was one of my sales reps when I had my store. He worked for one of the vendors I ordered supplements from. He recently made an excellent point on one of my posts. He said, "Show me a Disney movie where the family's still intact at the end or the parents don't die."
Imagine.
You hear that?
It's a cat.
That's he doesn't like when his door closed. So did you see that movie, The Visit, with the kids go to the grandparents?
No.
Sundowning. He sits and Desmond, knock it off.
Desmond.
That's the boy, Desmond.
Oh, okay.
He's the big one. He's a 22-pound cat.
Damn.
He's like a bobcat. Yeah, he's a big dude. It's like a dog.
Mom's catcher.
Where are you guys going to dinner tonight?
I think we're going to the shanty. I don't know. I'll get the text.
Because we're at 6:28 right now. You got to be out of here in 2 minutes, right?
I got a few minutes. It's fine.
All right. Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting you got a clock behind you.
No rush.
I never really
It's
change the
right
batteries in
down
that thing.
Street. So ultimately, I believe, like we've been talking throughout the time, that everybody has an opinion, but everybody that has an opinion they're entitled to their opinion, and they can have conviction in their opinion, but we can all talk about things, whether you disagree a little bit, I disagree a little bit. Yeah, right. Like, that's fine.
But that's how this came to be. This conversation came to be.
We should be able to disagree, but we should also have common ground, which we all do.
Yes.
Common ground. We should have common ground and bring ourselves together that way. I'm gonna find it difficult to have common ground with somebody that's thinks they're the total opposite of me. When in reality they're probably not, but that thinks they're the total opposite in my mind, in their brain, where we need socialize this and that and the other thing. We have a hybrid system as it is, right? The police, we pay for the police, we pay for the firefighters, we pay for the schools. That's fine, but can we just get money out of politics? Can we just come up with a healthcare system that promotes eating healthy and being healthy people? Can we just affordably? Can we make college affordable? There's nothing wrong with
college. Should be free.
If somebody says, "Hey, you're junior college, we're going to find a way to pay for that." That's fine. I get it. But if somebody said, "Hey, college is $10-12 grand a year. You buy your books, and it's big deal, right? If you want to have ambition to do things in life, and so you go into college debt for 30 or greater. Your parents pay 30-40 grand, and you're done. Not $200,000-$300,000.
It's insane.
Let's have common ground there. So yeah, is it going to be a hybrid of? I don't even like to say capitalism because I don't believe in trickle down. I don't believe in any of that.
Because it never trickles down.
No, it never does. It's
perfect.
That's another psyop.
Perfect example is the NFL. Look at the NFL. So they set up the salary cap so there's even money distribution to teams who don't always get like the higher draft picks.
Sure, yeah.
And what do you have in the NFL? You have the same 4 to 6 teams every year.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's no different in politics. That trickle down doesn't work. It's all a psyop. You're 100% right.
Is. I mean, and we're seeing it more now than ever. Even the past 4 years, it's 1.9 trillion. The richest people get it. Well, then you get another 6 trillion to the richest people. So essentially, when I say get rid of the Patriot Act and put power back in people's hands, when they transfer that money from our pockets to the wealthy people, which has happened more and more and more in the last 12, 14, 16, whatever years, since Reagan, really, then it's essentially taking power out of the people's hands and weakening us. And then they're feeding us poison, and they know that weakens you, and they're making you dependent on pills, and that weakens you. So I think this is something everybody agrees on.
Yeah, I don't think any of us disagree on any of this stuff. It's how we're receiving the information.
That's right.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
And that's what's creating all the strife.
Exactly. Why can't we just sit down and talk like this?
Look, I don't get it. This all started, literally, this whole show started because you were trolling the fuck out of my trolling. But I love it. But listen, perfect example, when Black Lives Matter first started, when George Floyd first happened, okay, I reached out to a buddy of mine, a customer. I dumped him on Facebook. Black dude shopped at me for over 10 years, him and his wife, and I still love him to death. If I know he doesn't watch this. I implored him. I'm like, dude, come on my show, because he disagreed with some of my posts, because I did not agree with what Black Lives Matter was touting. I think you were promoting
stores down.
You were promoting racism.
Right.
Don't judge me because of a cop in Minnesota. Now,
which that's a whole other topic, but yeah.
So we didn't disagree on anything except this. He didn't like my view on Black Lives Matter. So now keep in mind this guy. He was an ex-con, great dude, great guy, got his life together, worked for Pepsi, good job, married, beautiful home. I fucked up. I made mistakes when I was a kid. So he comes at me and he has this disagreement about him and another black customer of mine. 2 guys who, mind you, used to come in my store. I would let them take shit out of my store and pay me over the next 2 to 4 weeks when they had the money. I did that a lot with these 2 guys in particular. They both unfriended me from Facebook, insinuating that I was a racist somehow. Was I racist when I let you take product that I paid for out of my store and put it on layaway?
Nonsense.
Okay. So I begged him. I'm like, bro, come on my show. Let's do this. There's a disconnect. You grew up in South Providence. You have a different perspective of law enforcement and so forth than I do. Fine. Let me use my platform. Get your message out there. Fuck you, man. I know what you're trying to do. I see you trying to set me up. I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, I just want to have a discussion. I'm like, I'm not trying to do anything. So when it was funny, Joe Odette went off on him on Facebook. And I said, Joey, it's fine. I said, Irving, if you really thought that of me, was I racist? Was I this way towards you when you used to take shit out of my store and pay me over 4, 5, 6 weeks? No, because it suited your needs. I'm not a racist. You know that.
Well, everybody knows you're not a racist, but the idea behind the whole thing, you just look into it a little more. Look at who funds Black Lives Matter. I mean, look at where the money, follow the money, you know, and it's the provocative things that the division, all of it. It's to me, it's nonsense.
It's exactly what the elites want.
But it gives people something to identify to, and it's like, why are you going to identify with something like that? Why? On the other side, why would you identify with some white supremacist group? Like, why? Like, but the news puts it out as if here it is. Here it is.
They push it because if you're focused on that, you can't focus on all the other bullshit. You can't focus on the real problem. It's the amazing Burt Wonderstone. It's a magician. Mm-hmm. Hey, look over here because you're getting fucked in the ass over here. Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah. It's sickening.
But why do they fall into it and get emotionally attached to that?
I don't know.
It's sad. And it has to change.
And I wish people would realize that a lot of the shit I put on Facebook is to promote my show. Like,
it's also to provoke.
Yeah, I'm an instigator.
Right?
It is. But when people start taking my shit seriously, like, dude, come on, look at the stuff that I post.
I know. Yeah, some guys are like, we're patriots. And that's a whole other thing. You know, if you love your country, you love your country. When you start to identify, I'm a patriot, it changes the whole thing. Now you're this side and that person's that side. You know, and it's just like, I'm American. Like, I'm here to provide a good life for my family and maybe enjoy myself someday and be healthy. But it's just, they don't allow it to happen.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. We talked about this last week. I'm having that girl, this girl Farrah Dawson, on my show. She lives here now. Her brother's a Marine. So she's going to come on. I asked her to come on to just go over what it's like growing up. Because all we know is what's here. The only thing U.S. citizens know about other countries is when you go on vacation, knows the depths of how great or how bad it can be. So I'm going to have her come on the show next week and talk about all that. I'm really excited to look, because I don't know shit about. All we know is what we read and which I don't trust what we read anymore. And I don't trust the news. So I don't trust that any of my perception of what the world is like outside of my little bubble in West Warwick is actually real. Yeah. I don't believe any of it anymore.
Propaganda.
Yes.
All over.
Everywhere.
That's all we're fed. Mm-hmm. Another thing, we have to just put an end to it. Is it going to take, can we do this peacefully? That's the question. Like, can citizens, as citizens, can we do this peacefully? We have a handful of people in politics that maybe have a shot, but at least they're making people aware. Like Tom Massey, Tulsi Gabbard, these people. But they have to make it louder. They got to be louder. Like,
it's hard.
They have to get people on their side, and unfortunately,
look what they're fighting against.
They're ostracized by their own party. They're ostracized by the other side.
That girl Green or whatever down in Georgia.
Oh yeah. I don't know the whole story, but I know that they're trying to push her out.
I know that they're trying to pick on her, so I know she's probably doing something right.
Yeah, she's extreme. She has an extreme viewpoint, but you know what? Good. Do you have to agree with her? No. Is she telling people to come, assassinate you people? No.
She's not telling you to burn cities, go out and disrupt people while they're eating dinner in a restaurant.
Which is strange that was even allowed to go on.
I know. That's okay.
Ruin your own neighborhood? Wait, man, hey, that's heavy.
You ever see what LA and San Francisco, certain parts of those cities actually look like when you see people post real videos, real driving through neighborhoods? Yeah. It's like tent cities.
Yeah. I avoid LA when I drive through, at all costs.
You know what's sad? I want to go to California. I'd love to drive Brown up and down the coast. I would love to. I have no desire to go to California right now.
I'll say that it's a cool drive. We did the drive from San Diego up to Mendocino and all that, and it's fun. It's fun. When you get up into Northern California, to me, I had more fun.
I'd be more comfortable out in the woods.
And I started to look around, and I'm like, hey, this looks like New England. You look over, aside from the cliff on the left and the big redwood trees, just looking at the buildings, you're like, this looks like New England. I get up into Mendocino, I talk to the guys there, I'm like, hey, man, he goes, "Where are you from?" I said, "Rhode Island." I said, "This looks like home a little bit." He goes, "Oh, it's because the loggers from the East Coast came over here and started building like New England,
really?
New England style houses all the way up." So it was a really cool, like, if California was in such a messed up state, it'd be a really cool place to be. But unfortunately, it's a mass exodus out of California because
taxes and all the bullshit that goes with it. It's a bad place to be right now.
it started a long time ago.
I still got
Gray Davis and Arnold and
I got family in New York, and my uncle and my aunt. He's a retired stockbroker. She's actually she's executive VP of a hedge fund firm. But they still live in Staten Island, and it's okay in Staten Island, but it's just it's like a wasteland in the city. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's it is what it is.
It's going to the toilet.
Yeah. All right, listen. It's 6:40. Let's get you out of here so you can go to dinner.
Right on.
And then Brianna's out with her mother and shit. So I'm gonna edit this right now. I'm gonna try to put this out. I won't put it out on Saturday. I'll do it on a Monday because it's weird when you look at the analytics. Like nobody watches or listens to shit on the weekend. It's always when they're at work. Like the download times. Like I can look at like the granular. Like when people are at work
When
and
they're at work.
Yeah, when they're at work, they're listening to my show.
Slugs.
Nate, thank you so much, brother. It's been this is long overdue. We need to do this again. I like getting other people's perspectives.
Me too.
I know we want the same thing. We just see it differently of how we're getting there, or if we're going to get there. So
We have to get there.
I think we have to, because what's the alternative? You're seeing the alternative
We
now.
need solutions rather than that whole like speculation, I guess. It's too
Well,
much
the whole
speculation.
planet runs on speculation. It's all nonsense.
But we need to think of solutions.
Yeah.
James Corbett, he just came out with a thing, Solutions Watch. It's awesome. He used to have Propaganda Watch, which was great because
Yeah.
it made you aware of what's going on. Now he has this thing, Solutions, and it's actually refreshing to listen to. Because
Yeah, you turned me on to him the other day.
because you're sitting there listening to people talk about what can we do to fix the problem, rather than say, "Oh, here's the issues and here's the devious people doing these things to us." And well, now we know what they're doing to us.
So what do we do to
Let's come up
fix
with
it?
a solution.
Yeah. The dam broke. How do we fix it?
Yeah.
That's essentially how you have to look at it.
What happened to the dam in Johnson's Pond? What happened to the dam over there?
Did it break?
No, they shut it off. They drained the pond and they won't give the pond back the water.
Why?
I don't know.
Where does the water go, by the way? That was probably a dumb question.
Well, it comes out of the Quidnick Reservoir up top,
Okay.
and they fill the pond up, but they flush it every year. So
Yeah.
now there's something in the newspaper about the people that bought the pond are withholding the water from the residents because they bought the pond itself and they want so much money per year.
Are you so the Johnson's Pond Association?
It's like the GameStop squeeze. It's the big squeeze.
Get out of
And now
here
they're asking the town for $1.4 million a year to compensate them.
for the money they used to.
I guess that's the gist of it, but I don't really know.
How do you buy Johnson's Pond?
You
I guess
are
it's just
one of
land,
the
right?
people in the town that have money.
One of. Yeah.
One of the 5 or 6 people in town that have money.
Something to keep an eye on, because I didn't know that. I didn't know Johnson's Pond was sold.
Yeah, it got sold last year, and that's the deal.
Like, see, that camera's gonna fucking bounce. All right, listen, we're gonna go. Nate's gonna go to dinner.
Peace.
I'm gonna edit this show. Nate, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching another episode of The Body Shop. And Nate will be back because we are just way too good together to not do this again. Good night, everybody.